Okay, good evening. This is Debbie Davis. Okay, so I wanted to do a video tonight regarding some of the current things going on in the news right now. And so I wanted to talk about something about Liz Cheney, since she has just gotten ousted from the Republican Party. Whatever exactly is going on there. Some people know kind of what she's been involved with, but I think the general public is not aware of some of the things she's been involved with. And I'm going to share some of those things tonight in this video. And so Liz Cheney apparently, has been involved with Bureau of Land Management for a long time. And the Bureau of Land Management is part of the United Nations Agenda 21. So I'm just going to read. So apparently, Liz Cheney is the Congresswoman of Wyoming. I don't, a lot of people have probably, I personally had never heard that much about her. But apparently what I'm hearing, what's coming up about her and her past is that, and what she's currently involved with is this Bureau of Land Management has this evil agenda with that Liz Cheney is involved in. And so for those of you who are not aware, and also she's the daughter of Dick Cheney, who was a very evil man. And so Liz Cheney, she was a part of Bureau of Land Management, who is a part of Agenda 21 United Nations. They have been involved in illegally grabbing and stealing land from people. This has happened in South Dakota, and this has happened all over the country where they're trying to steal land. So especially if it has some kind of natural resources on it that they want, they'll steal your land, and they'll give you like pennies on the dollar. And this has been happening a lot in South Dakota, and in the Black Hills area, I think, especially, and also just all over the country. And Liz Cheney is a part of that. Okay, so illegally stealing it. So they've stole a mine from some elderly veterans, 2 World War II elderly veterans, giving them pennies on a dollar. Okay, that's one thing they were involved in. And they're also involved in the roundup of wild mustangs off the land. They're using your tax dollars to do it, and they are keeping them in holding pens, and then they end up going to a slaughter in Mexico. Okay, this is what somebody has shared with me that's been doing research on these animals, that's trying to save these animals, and they sent me all the information, so I was sharing it tonight. Donkeys are also being slaughtered. They're using our tax dollars of Bureau of Land Management, paying and supporting this abuse of these animals. And Liz Cheney is the one that approved the roundups and overrode the opposition to them. Okay, so this is why people are calling her evil, and also because of her father. So for people who are not aware of that part of who she is, I wanted to share that tonight. And and then I've just been watching this election in Arizona. I mean, not election, this recounting of the election in Arizona. And I, of course, was one of the ones trying to expose a lot of things in Arizona that happened at that military base, and what happened, basically just the whole Arizona mafia there, is so evil, because John McCain was there, and he, was head of the deep state. So, I mean, of course, there's deep state in Arizona that are involved in trying to do whatever they can to stop this recount, So, from what I'm hearing is, okay, so they have the state has requested the Senate has requested that the routers from the election to be released, and they are the deep state players there, whoever they may be, are not releasing them. And some databases were deleted. The numbers of the election are totally off kilter, like over 17%. There was like 1 million fake ballots from what I'm hearing, because the reason why they know they're fake is because the real ones had a watermark on them. A watermark, it's like what they did is they're using quantum technology where they could actually, it was invisible, so you couldn't see it on a regular ballot, but it was they were marked, the real marks. They were marked, and so the real ballots had a mark on them. So they're finding that there was 1 million like fake ones, is my understanding. So I had mentioned this woman in one of my videos in the past last year, that there was this woman named Diana Humatia, who was a judge, that she was the judge trying to dismiss my case against the Arizona National Guard, which is a very legitimate case. And she was doing everything in her power to dismiss my case for no reason against the Arizona National Guard. And I know she's part of the deep state there. Well, I can only assume, because she was an appointed judge by John McCain. She was appointed by him, and the way she acted towards me in my case, I had asked her to recuse herself because I know she was appointed by John McCain, and my case was somewhat involving John McCain, my case against Arizona, so the Arizona National Guard. So I had asked her to recuse herself. She refused to recuse herself. She tried to, and she's still tried to she never responded to multiple things that I had sent into the court, and she was doing everything within her power to make up lies to dismiss my case. So that just tells me for sure that she's a corrupt judge, and she was appointed by a corrupt man, John McCain. So, I am just going to say a decree over this situation tonight. A decree. So, I decree, and what it says in the Bible about decreeing, it says, you shall decree, if you shall decree a thing, it shall be established. So this is Job 22:28. Thou shalt decree a thing, and it shall be established, and the light shall shine upon thy ways. And I decree that over Arizona. I decree that that the light will shine over your ways, and that you have been caught, Satan. Okay? So you have been caught, Satan, and here's what it says. You have been caught red-handed trying to fraud this election. Okay, by switching the votes in the server illegally, putting fake ballots in, having your deep state agents assist with the fraud. Okay, here's what it says in Proverbs 6:31. If you are caught, you must pay 7 times as much as you stole. It may even cost him everything he has. Okay, that's what it says. It says when Satan has been caught, or, his dominions or whoever is working with Satan, when you've been caught, you are to pay back 7 times. And I decree that over Arizona right now. I decree that. And thou shalt decree a thing, and it shall be established, and the light shall shine upon thy ways. I decree that the light, God's light, shine upon the evil ways in Arizona, because I know firsthand how evil they can be from what I saw when I was in the military there. So I decree that the light shine, God's light expose the darkness in Jesus' name. And I decree that tonight. Okay, and then I just wanted to touch on, so please just agree with me, who are watching this video, just agree with me in prayer about that, and hopefully we'll see a change in this election, or these countings, because they're going to continue to do whatever they can to try to fraud this in Arizona if we don't make a stand. If people don't make a stand against this, they will. I mean, they are that dirty. I promise you, I've saw it firsthand. And anyway, but the other thing I want to talk about is just, with I had mentioned in my last video about these police issues, and and there's more coming out about, there's people videotaping the police. Nobody trusts the police. There's mistrust right now. There's people saying in Arizona, like, we support constitutional policing, but not unconstitutional policing. So, like, if you're a police officer and you're pulling people over for no reason and giving tickets for no reason, well, that's kind of like, you're not a public servant. You're like just part of the problem. But just really quickly, I just wanted to mention in that area that if you're a police officer and you're giving, and you're in a situation where you don't, where you feel obligated or you feel told to illegally surveil somebody, or you get put in a situation where you accidentally kill somebody, or or you're given. So basically, when I was in the military, if I was given an unlawful order, I could say to my commanding officer, with all due respect, sir, with all due respect, I cannot follow that illegal order. So, you have you have the right to make a decision as free will if you're a police officer or military or a firefighter or whatever leadership, or working for or working in a company or whatever the situation. You have free will. So you can say, this is what I would recommend saying, if you're put in a situation where you might have a bad sheriff above you, you might have a bad people in charge of the certain police district or whatever you work. So I would just, my opinion would be, in that situation, where I would just say, with all due respect, I don't feel comfortable doing that. I don't feel comfortable following that unlawful order, because you have a right to do that. And especially if it's like saying, where somebody ends up dead, or somebody ends up wrongfully arrested, or somebody ends up illegally stalked, like I was. God is going to have your back if you do the right thing. It says in Acts 5:29, it says, obey God rather than men. And certainly, especially if it's unlawful order. Okay, so that would be my advice to all the different things going on with the police right now. And if you're a police officer legitimately trying to do your job, I do respect the police, and especially if you're trying to follow the Constitution, and you are put in a really weird position right now. So that would be my advice to the police right now, is that just try to make the decision on your own. Like, okay, so I don't, if they're telling you to do something, well, you say, well, I don't feel comfortable doing this. So, so you don't end up getting yourself in trouble, and you don't end up hurting somebody. Those are the decisions that people had to make in the military. Those are the decisions that people have to make in the police force. So I just wanted to touch on some of those things tonight. Okay, God bless.